In fact, since we're on the subject of staying away, many times what I've learned in my years of practice is that what heals a patient is what they stay away from, not what they take to get rid of it, but what they stay away from. There are 5 things that a patient must do. Stay away from red meat and anything to do with red meat. By that I mean beef and veal and pork and so forth. The only red meat permitted, if they so desire, is lamb, but with all the fat removed, and they don't even need that. The second thing is the nightshades, which I just named, and I think that's probably the biggest culprit. Tomatoes, tobacco, eggplant, white potatoes, peppers, and paprika. The third thing is too many sweets, sugary products. In my opinion, my years of practice has taught me that the biggest cause of degenerative diseases in this country is refined sugar. Cookies, candies, cakes, everything has it. And if they stay away from that, they're amazed at how good they feel when they do. The fourth thing is tobacco and alcohol. Although tobacco I mentioned in the nightshades, alcohol. They really should stay away from that. And the fifth is not a food item as much as it is a process. Nothing fried, period. Nothing fried. So those are the 5 things that you should stay away from. Red meat, the nightshades, sweets, alcohol, and no fried foods.
What does Edgar Cayce say is the exact cause of psoriasis?
Very good question, because that's the only place that I found some kind of an answer. He says it's due to thin, porous intestinal walls. Now, the technical term for that is intestinal permeability, or otherwise known as the leaky gut syndrome. What it means is that when you take food, even good food, normal food, you take good food into your system or bad food, you're always going to have a residue. That's nature, that's natural. That must pass out of the body. But when a person has thin intestinal walls, which incidentally, according to 3 of the top scientists in America, is caused primarily by an overuse of antibiotics. That's the biggest cause of breaking down the walls of the intestines. And when that happens, the walls are porous, like little pinholes develop. And these poisons and toxins that are the larger molecule are able to pass through the wall of the intestine and go into your bloodstream. Now, when it's in your bloodstream and the lymphatic system, it's trapped in there. Now, that is what they call, when it occurs to such a degree that it is overwhelming, that the toxic buildup in the blood is overwhelming, then the skin jumps in to help you get rid of those poisons. That's what the psoriatic lesion is. Psoriatic lesions, whether the whole body or a little spot, indicates poisons trying to get out of your body. Therefore, anything you can do to help the body get rid of those poisons is going to help your psoriasis. One of the first and most important, well, 2 things. The first being no constipation problem. Now, some people think, oh no, I don't have a constipation problem. I go once a week.
Oh.
Now, I've had more than you may think about that. As soon as their bowels are regulated, and that means going to the bathroom and defecating 1 to 3 times a day. That's normal for everybody. And if you miss a day, that toxic buildup begins to compound itself. The second thing is, don't put the same toxins into your system that you've been doing all these years without knowing it. I mean, who would think a good, healthy Jersey tomato could be bad for you?
Yeah.
But you see, the Nightshade director, Dr. Norman Childers of the University of Florida now, who is the head of Rutgers University, and I have been in communication through these years. He loves my work, and I have great respect for this man. And it's the tomatin within the tomato that is the culprit. Now, some people are highly allergic to that. The psoriatic patient would be, and anybody with arthritis. All the forms of arthritis, especially psoriatic arthritis, should stay away from the nightshades.
So does the psoriasis diet also work for your arthritis patients?
Yes, yes, without fail. And also the arthritis patient, this is found in medical literature, not mine. Medical literature will tell you that the leaky gut syndrome is one of the biggest causes of the arthritis, whatever the cause it may be. So people with arthritis should take heed to that.
I know you talk a lot about the different teas that help to heal the thinning intestinal walls.
Right. There are two primary teas. Those teas are American yellow saffron, not Spanish, American yellow saffron tea. That you take as often as, well, a few times a day if you wish. That acts as an intestinal antiseptic, and it helps cleanse the viruses, germs, bacteria, different parasites, cleans up your alimentary canal. The second tea is the slippery elm bark powder. Slippery elm. That coats the inner lining of the intestinal tract, allowing it to heal. Give it time to heal. And it heals very readily. Every 6 days you have a new wall.
I took it recently. You recommended it. I had colitis recently, and I took the slippery elm, and it was great. It really seems like it was like a miracle.
Well, the Chinese have been using slippery elm for irritable bowel problems, colitis, things like that for 5,000 years. And it also helps ulcers, anything to do with the inner lining of the intestinal tract.
It really soothed everything. I don't know why I waited so long. Because I know that's recommended by Edgar Cayce, and I had heard about it, but for some reason I thought it would be really difficult to do, because he says you have to heat it, then you put an ice cube in or something like that. But when I actually just sat and read what I had to do and did it, it was very easy.
Yes, it is easy. And now of course, they're in the form of capsules, or they're in the form of lozenges, see, or the powder. I personally like the powder in the water. I think it just distributes itself better on the inner lining of the wall. And the most difficult cases you'll see starting to respond. However, one little word of caution. You don't take these teas if you're pregnant or anticipating pregnancy. For some reason or other, they feel as though there's a connection with spontaneous abortion. Okay. So therefore, anybody in that category would just avoid it. Okay. See?
Good you mentioned that.
Right. So that's a good. Now, the spinal adjustments are part of it, especially right between your shoulder blades. They should be stimulated or adjusted, vibrated, anything like that to activate the nerves that go to the wall of the intestines. And you see, when the walls of the intestines begin to heal, that helps the healing process to stimulate the nerves that go there. It helps that. And so then, therefore, it's the adjustments, the teas, and the diet. Now, here's the key to it all. Without following the diet, I can't help anybody. With all the other things that I do, it won't work. The diet is the most important factor in healing psoriasis, according to the work that I have done. Now, what is it about the diet? Everything you eat is either alkaline forming in your body or acid forming.